The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker, as always, and I'm here with my son, as always, Scott Walker. Hello, Scott.
I was say, have I changed my name then? Your son as always.
Yeah,
It sounded like you forgot what we were doing for the beginning for a
I
minute.
did. I completely lost what was going on in my head for a moment there. I didn't no idea where I was going with what I was saying.
Hello, Father. Anyway, how are you? How's life? How's
Yeah. Well, again, and I had to do another day at work that I wasn't expecting to do today, but here you go. Uh,
time of
but
year, isn't it? It's
yeah, I know it's everything's a bit all over the place. I've got to go back in on Monday morning for some bizarre reason I haven't yet to fathom. I don't quite know why.
they not told
But
you.
well, no, my boss Leslie said, "Oh, we want to make sure everything is clean, make sure everything's properly cleaned and locked down and all that kind of thing." I said, "Okay, right." She said, "So I want everyone in at 9 o'clock in the morning." I thought everyone. So there's going to be three caretakers, her, a cleaner, and what are we all going to do? It doesn't take that much to clean the place. It's not that big.
No, I
But
don't know.
hey,
Maybe you've all got a room.
mine is not the reason why. I'm told it's my job. How are you?
I'm okay. Um, I'll go into a bit more detail about it, but I feel a bit weird after watching what we were talking about today. What we're talking about. I did the stupid thing of what you said is don't watch them all together at once. So I did.
Yeah, well, I thought
Yeah, I regretted it instantly.
yeah, well, I thought that might have been the case, especially if you've been a bit dodgy
Yeah,
with mental health lately. Anyway.
yeah.
Okay, so
Say it definitely needs to come with a warning label.
this in this episode, we are not doing a film at all. What we are doing, I suppose, is horror. It's
It's
kind of horror sci-fi.
psychological horror, I
It's
suppose.
well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, it is what it is. It's a animated mini series
Yes.
called Uzumaki. This is done by Adult Swim, and it's available on Channel 4 online iPlayer type thing. Um, it's originally from a manga by Junji Ito,
Yes.
and the synopsis for it says the population of Kuruzu Chow is slowly driven mad by their growing obsessions with spiral shapes, finding them everywhere with shocking and horrifying results.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this is another one of those things that never having read the original manga, I didn't have any real expectations of the
But
series when I went in to watch it.
yes.
So, I've seen a lot of things online where a lot of people have said it's a really bad adaptation of the manga and all that kind of thing. All I can say is I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Um, there were a few parts in it where I felt that the pacing was a bit slow and a bit disjointed, but to me, that kind of didn't detract from it. It kind of just added to the kind of strangeness of it.
Yes. Yeah. No. I. Oh, I fully agree. I fully understand what you're saying. With a lot of other stuff we've watched, the sort of pace is almost it's almost it's like sort of deters you or not deters you, sort of takes away from the what you're watching with this. It does. It adds to that odd feeling, and
Yeah,
I suppose as well some of the. Oh, so I can't say camera angles, but some of the shots and the images that are on screen that seem rather normal. But then especially like the first episode's not too bad, I suppose. But when by the second and third, you then look at the stills and see whether. Oh, I did anyway. I started seeing whether or not I could see things in the still images or the images where it was a lot like there was a lot sort of focused on that area,
yeah,
and I kept focusing on it to sort of go, am I missing something?
yeah,
So, but I think it adds to it.
yeah. I mean, it is one of those things. It starts off relatively ordinary, but a bit odd, and then
Yeah,
it gets weirder as it goes on.
yeah.
Um,
Which I genuinely I didn't think could happen. Like I thought to myself, when I watched the first episode, I'm like, this is a very odd program. And I've watched a lot of animes where and animations and adaptations where it starts off like that and then sort of decreases and picks up again. So I wasn't expecting it something, but when I get to the third episode, I'm like, this hasn't gotten worse or anything. It's just it's gradually increased
yeah,
as it's gone on, and I was like, and see this, I'm still just about to watch the third episode, and I was like, how is this going to get weirder?
and
And
then it does.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But
One thing I quite like about it is if you watch it, it kind of like everything in it, including the story itself and eventually the town, kind of spirals in on itself.
yes,
And you get to the point where in the later in one of the in the I don't know if it's the last episode, you get to the point where the beginning of it is almost a rerun of the beginning of the first episode.
yeah,
It's almost like it's spiraled round on itself again, you know.
yeah. It's
Um,
just it's very very well. uh, See, again, I'm like you. I've not seen the manga or read the manga, but
yeah.
it does seem like it's a very very well written idea.
Yeah, oh yeah, the story is brilliant. And the animation I think is really good. The actual drawings and the actual thing that I think are
Yeah,
really good. As I say, the animation is really good. The story was good, even if it is a bit, well, to say the least, a bit weird. One thing I did find it odd is when you looked online to see about a synopsis for it, I found 4 or 5 different synopses, but they're all basically about the same thing.
yeah.
But the thing I found really strange is that almost none of them mention the snail people,
Mm.
which, there are people in the town who are turning into snails. And you just kind of, why is that not mentioned in any of the things about
To
it?
be honest, though, knowing what I know, or knowing what I know about certain animes and different animes about, it's probably the thing like there's a lot of them out there where weird stuff like that happens, and it never ever gets mentioned. And
It's,
it's one of the things you do sit there and go, "Am I the only one that's seeing this?" And
yeah,
it's one of the things, and I was saying it's the weird thing that happened with this. But I've got to admit, I like this for a different reason. I
yeah.
like it for it's very rare that we've watched something for the podcast or even in general where I've sat there afterwards and I've gone, I physically feel odd. I mentally feel odd.
Yeah.
And I know we did the whole warning of don't watch these consecutive, especially if you've had sort of weeks where your mental health been playing up or anything like that. To then watch this consecutive 2 hours worth of absolute weird and wonderful stuff. Because like I then sat there afterwards and I genuinely had to sit on the edge of my bed and I sat there like I felt very uneasy. Like it's not in like I suppose it's not in a bad way, but I didn't feel right in my own head
Yeah.
after watching it, and I sat there and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, is that because of the fact that I was focused so much on what was going on and the spirals and everything like that, or was it because of what was like or some other subliminal message or what? But I sat there and I was like, it was a bit concerning to begin with, but then it's sort of that whole I liked it because I've never had a film do that to me.
Yeah,
I've never or a program or anything got to the end of it, and I've enjoyed that because it's made me feel weird. It's made me feel
yeah.
uneasy, made me feel on edge.
I know what you mean. Um, I mean, I didn't feel like that, but then I didn't watch it consecutively. I watched it when it was on,
Yeah,
it was coming out every week. So, um, but it was interesting. That it was is that one of the things I think is interesting, and it may be different in the manga to the isn't in the animation, but it's like there was a lot made about the lighthouse. And when they went to the lighthouse, the actual bit in the lighthouse only lasted about what, a third of an episode?
yeah. It's saying this is my thing. It made a lot of influence on certain things that weren't actually important.
Yeah, it was very strange. I mean, because I thought when they finally went to the lighthouse, I thought, right, now there's going to be some answers or something,
Yeah,
and then there weren't, and it was just like, oh, okay,
yeah. It's just I suppose it's just one of them. I don't know. I want to say it's one of them things, but it's not. Like I was saying, I've watched a lot of animes and a lot of mangas, read a lot of manga, and it's a very unique story.
yeah, yeah,
And I will say as well, what I love about the art style of this, it's very rare for there to be for it to be a non-color. Like
yeah,
no colour, and the fact that it's all in black and white, I think that's what adds to the atmosphere of it. I think if it
yeah,
was in colour, it would have deterred so much away from the story and everything. But it just being in black and white and seeing the black swirls and the black like, spirals and everything, I think adds so much to this.
yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yes, it did, and I liked. I mean, I did like some of the effects in it, like sort of the when the girls were having the thing with their hair,
Yeah,
with it all standing up with spirals in it and then fighting, the hair fighting each other and that sort of thing. It was an incredible idea. Um,
it's
but
it's the
uh,
it's the weird it's the weird way that some of the spirals were showing up as well. Obviously, the first one you first ever see is um, the dad that crams himself into a bath,
yeah,
um, and then obviously it goes on a bit more into. But I think the one of the best ones I liked in it was the imaging that they done of the girl who was meant to be this, like this sort of. She was desired by all the boys and all that, and the way that spiral showed them, the imaging that they done on it was amazing and very well. Like the artwork of that was amazing.
yeah. No, I agree. Now, strangely, I didn't realize this, but there is actually a feature film
Oh, okay.
of this that came out in 2000. Um, and the film came, well, because the film came out earlier, the film came out while the manga was still being written. So I'm not quite sure how how they went,
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, I'd like to watch that and see what that's all about.
yeah.
See if that's how different that is to the animation and what that's like.
I think for me, I would like to do it and rewatch this, but I think I need to have it in a. For me personally, when I'm in more of an okay state mentally, because
Yeah.
it is a lot to pay attention to in this, and it's a lot of. So I say spirals, but it's a lot of weird things going on, and if you're
Well,
not feeling present
I mean, you've got spirals.
mentally,
You've got spirals. You've got people turning into snails. You've got people in hospital becoming kind of vampire, effectively vampires, and then growing mushrooms on the out of the
yes,
blood of the people that and dead bodies of people. So it's all a bit. There's a
yeah,
lot in
it's
there.
there's a lot going on, and if you're not saying, like I said, if you're not there presently in your own head, then it can be very, very weird to watch. So I think I might have to watch this again, or maybe watch it in stages again, so it's not all at once.
Yeah.
But
The other,
it was a very enjoyable to watch, though.
yeah, oh, definitely. The other really weird thing is it's taken me right up to this week to realise this. Earlier on in the year, I interviewed a band for my music podcast
Yeah,
who are called Vortex Town. And it wasn't until this week when I was looking at something about them, suddenly realized that the artwork they use for their logo and everything and the name is connected to Uzumaki. It's all connected to it. And I hadn't realized that at all
oh
until
wow.
literally this week. And it was just kind of like, that's very bizarre.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's gonna be like the number 23 again, and everything's connected.
it's very strange, very strange. It all spirals around on itself again.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, So yes, so there you go. Uzumaki animated series on Channel 4 on demand or whatever it's called, the actual iPlayer type thing that is
Yeah.
Channel 4 programs. You can find it online, or you can be able to find it on Channel 4 in the UK, and all that kind of thing. Yes, we both enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
it's very strange. And I don't know. Maybe we enjoyed it more because of the fact we didn't know the original manga. Because
Possibly.
I have that with a lot of things. It's like sort of I really like the oh God, I can never remember the name of it when I'm trying to think of it. The films about the Umbrella Corporation,
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Yeah, I really like the Resident Evil films. But people I know who were really into the Resident Evil as a game think it's awful.
Yeah.
So maybe it's that because I didn't never played that game. I really like the films because I'd never read the manga. I really like the animation, but I don't know. I'd be interested to see what the difference of opinion is of people who have and haven't read the manga
Yeah.
to series.
I might have to look it up and see if there's anyone.
Well, I mean, most of the reviews I've seen online that are from people who have read the manga have really not liked the animation. They've been very down on it. So I don't know. It's I'm not sure if you haven't read the manga whether you would watch the animation, but I don't know. We shall see what
It.
we shall see. You know. So this is our last proper show
Yes.
for the year 2024.
Yeah.
We have got one more show-ish coming up in which we will give a rundown of films that we
Oh,
liked and disliked. But as it is the end of our fifth year, we're going to
yes.
give a thing of like what films we've reviewed over the last 5 years that we think were the best and the worst. So that will be coming up
Yeah.
just before the end of the year. During the meanwhile, I would like to wish you a happy Christmas, Scott.
Thank you. And same to you and everyone at your household.
And I would like to wish anybody and everybody watching and listening a happy Christmas. And we will be back in the new year, but I don't know when. Possibly not until February. We'll see. Maybe we'll have a few weeks off. But we will be back with more of the same nonsense. And
More of the same and some
oh,
of the new.
that's a very good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have thought of that. Uh, I probably will at some point. Uh, until then, good biggly bonk. Bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.